Hello. My name's Sam and you're watching my channel So Let's Sparkle with Sam, and today is my Pogonip Party vlog. Stay tuned. So today I am going to do a vlog all about the Friday Pattern Company Pogonip pullover. So this is all part of the hashtag Pogonip Party run by the lovely Christine from Gemini Stitches. So yeah, what this lovely pattern kind of has taken the sewing vlogging community by storm. And Christine had the great idea to get us all together as a community to sew the Pogonip. So we've all done so. And yesterday, my video is coming up on the 1st of, this should be the 1st of March today that you're watching this. And yesterday, the last day of February, the leap year, we all posted on Instagram. So if you want to see lots and lots of lovely pictures of lots of lovely Pogonips, go and check it out on the hashtag Pogonip Party on Instagram. And mine is there too, but I thought I'd just do a little bit of a vlog about why I went about it and how I went about it and my finished Pogonip. So a little bit of apologies before we start, because I think I'm going to be a little bit of a Pogonip party pooper. So apologies, because I'm gonna just say it, I didn't like it. Now I know it's me, it's So Let's Sparkle with Sam, you know, Miss Positivity. And yeah, and I'm gonna still try and show you the positive side of it, but I have to say, from the start to the finish, it just wasn't for me. There you go. But anywho, so this is the pattern, and as you can see, it's kind of a collared pullover, and the idea is that it is meant to wear over your clothes, and so therefore it is quite oversized, and therein lies the first problem for me. Because even though I did look at the finished garment measurements, and even though I did take on notes from other people wearing it, I don't think I quite realised how oversized it was. And what I've finished up with is a very boxy, very oversized pullover. And when I first saw the Friday Pattern Company Pogonip, I'm going to be really honest with you, I first saw it and thought, that's not for me. And that should have been it, really. My brain should have said, that's not for you, Sam. That's not a style that's going to suit you. Don't make it. But no, they were having a party. And I was like, I'll have a party. I'll have a go. So I thought, I kind of went around the process trying to make it work for me. So I was thinking, well, it's an oversized pullover, so if I make it for my dog walking, I'm going to be wearing it over clothes. It's not going to be something that's going to be super precious, so it will be fine. But yeah, so I think that was my main problem. You know, it's kind of, and it's not because it's a horrible pattern, of course it's not, it's lovely, and we've been talking about it a lot in my family, and the men in my family, when they've seen me wearing mine, have said, oh, but you know, I think that would really, really suit me. I just don't think it suits me. So it is definitely a me thing, not a pattern thing. So yes, so let's go on a little Pogonip story. So I've got lots and lots of photos of my Pogonips, and I will be either slotting them in or popping them all in at a little kind of montage at the end. So yeah, so the first thing with Pogonip was deciding what fabric to use, and so I had got a little bit overexcited and kind of thought of lots of different fabrics that I could use, but the main one, because I wanted it as a dog walking jumper, was I bought a beautiful French terry from Pound Fabrics, which had little doggy paw prints on, and that is what I used. I also used a paler blue lighter weight jersey for all of the lining and the pockets, because there are a lot of layers to sew together on the Pogonip, and if you use a very thick fabric, unless you have got a much stronger overlocker than I have, you would probably come across a few problems with it. But I just about managed with all of my layers. Yeah, so I got the fabric, gave it a wash, looked at the pattern, read all the pattern through, watched the lovely Chelsea's welt pocket tutorial, which I have to say was really useful, watched the lovely Chelsea's all the way through Pogonip tutorial, which again was very helpful. So I felt very prepared for it. Read the instructions all the way through and thought, right, had a look at the sizes, and I was umming and ahhing between a medium and a large. I was like, medium, large, and I went for the large. I should have gone for the medium. So yeah, I went for the large. So that was kind of my first mistake, but you know, not the end of the world. And so I cut everything out, cut all my pattern pieces out. I cut all of the pieces out to have the pocket in the back, but I'll get into that in a little bit. And then I cut out some scrap French terry and some scrap jersey fabric to do some practices of the welt pocket. Now this is not my first rodeo, my first welt pocket rodeo. I had made welt pockets before. But I thought I'm doing it in a stretchy kind of almost bouncy fabric, so always good to have practice. If I'm doing buttonholes in a different fabric, I always do a practice. So I thought, well, pockets no different, let's do a practice. So I again watched the tutorial with Chelsea, did a practice, and it was an absolute disaster. It looked like I'd tried to, I think it looked like my dog had tried to do it, to be honest. It looked, oh, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. And basically I had not followed the instructions correctly, but as I said, I'd done everything. I'd watched the video, I had the instructions in front of me, whether I was having a bad day, whether I was coming down with a cold, whether my brain I'd been abducted by aliens momentarily, I don't know, but that didn't work. So I thought, right, so I did what I normally do, went and had a cup of tea, sat down and thought, right, okay, I've got plenty of fabric, don't worry about it, it was just scrap, let's scrap that, let's cut out another panel. So I did. And then I marked them both, and then I suddenly realised that I hadn't because I was just practicing, I hadn't interfaced. But of course, when you're putting a welt pocket in, and particularly on it, you should really, I should have interfaced it anyway. So I thought, okay, that's fine. So I interfaced all my fabric, I popped the welt pockets in like a dream. They went in like a dream. It worked really well. I had a lovely panel with two lovely welt pockets on. And I thought, oh, that looks really nice. Looks like the ones on the video. Jobs are good, ready to go. So whatever that was that happened before, obviously just a blip. And that won't happen again. So we're good to go. So I got started on my actual fabric, and I got all of the panel together, and I interfaced the panel and did it all, and we just had it was just an absolute disaster from start to finish. First thing that I did was I lined up my welt to the wrong line. So instead of lining it up to the center line, I lined it up to the outer line, so I had like a great big gap like that in my welt pocket on one side. And then I know. So I was like, okay, I can live with that. If the other one is perfect, I can live with that, because I can just put some stitches in and it won't, like, I can put some hand stitches in and I can close the gap up, and yeah, I'll have a little bit of a fold, but it, you know, no one will know and it's fine. So I'll go for the other side. And then I did the other side, and that one kind of went in, it was all going really, really well until I had to understitch, and when I understitched it just pulled everything, and so when I had the panel up, it looked like I had one pocket very much higher than the other pocket, so I was just not happy with it, and I'm really sad. I didn't take photos of it, and I know it makes me a really bad vlogger, but the reason I didn't take photos of it was I was so cross with myself. I just wasn't thinking straight, so I just didn't even think about it. I just ended up, yeah, getting really cross. So I thought, okay, it doesn't matter. I'll scrap the pocket on the back and I'll use the pocket fabric to make the panel at the front, and I had plenty of lining fabric for the pockets, so I wasn't worried about that. So I was like, okay, so I did that, and I cut it out the wrong way, so the puppy paws were going in the wrong, I just cut it out wrong. So I'm going to be honest with you, at this point I thought, Pogonip, go home. No thank you, I'm not interested in you anymore. And I had a few days of just Pogonip rest, and yeah, so I had to order some more fabric. Luckily it was pound fabrics, so they had plenty and it didn't break the bank, so I ordered another meter. I only needed half a meter, but I had to order a meter. It's pound fabrics. And while I was there, I ordered some different colours of the lightweight jersey to make it worth my while with the postage. And I also ordered a couple of extra ribbing fabrics as well, which I'm glad I did. So the fabric came, I washed the fabric. I had a bit of a kind of, everything is new, everything is okay, so we're just gonna go for it. So yeah, so I went for it again, cut out all of the pieces, interfaced the pocket piece, looked down at my cutting table and realized that I'd used the wrong interfacing. So pulled off the interfacing. The fabric didn't recover very well from me pulling off the interfacing, so I had to cut another piece and then put the correct interfacing on. And this is totally my fault, because I have knit interfacing, I have cotton interfacing, and then I have regular interfacing, and then I have my bag making interfacing, and I'd put the knit interfacing in the wrong drawer. So I'd gone in, well, I thought I was getting knit interfacing, and I just put it in the wrong drawer. So, and I didn't check, which, again, silly me. So yeah, so I think it was at this stage 6th time a dream. So yeah, after the 6th time, I managed to get 2 mediocre welt pockets, but I was quite happy with them by then, because by then it really didn't matter. And then I went about the rest of the project, and it was this stage I'm not going to bother putting the pocket on the back, because it was just another thing that I needed to do, and I was kind of running a little bit short of time. So I thought, let's not worry about the pocket. When I make another one, if I make another one, I'll put the pocket on. Let's just get this done. Let's just have the party. So I did. Now, I'd like to say, oh, and after that, it was all a dream and it all went together beautifully. but I can't say that. So the next thing that happened, I'll grab my Pogonip here, was these bits here. So as you can see, now my main problem, I think, which was caused with the main construction, is that I used a fabric that had it had an obvious directional fabric. If it had been a non-directional fabric, I wouldn't have had this problem. So as you can see, this kind of collar part, the placket part, goes on here, and the construction of that is that you have to fold it over by 1 centimetre and leave 1 centimetre hanging, and I'll show you in the instructions. Now if you have non-directional fabric, it doesn't matter which side you leave it on. If you have directional fabric, it does matter what side you leave it on, but it doesn't say that in the instructions, unfortunately, and it didn't and it wasn't mentioned in the video. So therefore I didn't think about it, I just did them, and then it wasn't until I went to put them on. So as you can see, it's this picture here, and then when they go on here, it does actually matter which side they go on. So because obviously if I put it on the other side, it would be upside, to turn it around, it would be upside down, and then I would end up, instead of with it like this, it would look like this, and I didn't want it to be upside down. I wanted it to be the right way around. So that was a bit of a head scratcher, and I did end up having to unpick it all, make it up again. Luckily I'd interfaced all of those, so that wasn't too bad, but it was just one of those another moment. And then the next bit was quite difficult because I missed where you had to put the lining piece in, but I knew that I had it, and I did want to use the lining. So I kind of, and because there's so many layers here, because you've got 2 layers of this placket plus interfacing, 2 layers of this placket plus interfacing, you've got your front bit, your bottom bit, and the lining. So how many is that? 9 layers of fabric. So getting my overlocker to go in there, didn't really like that very much, I'm not gonna lie. So I ended up getting my walking foot on my machine, tacking and basting it all in, and then going onto my overlocker and just kind of talking very, very sweetly to it and asking it really kindly if it wouldn't mind just, going that extra mile for me. And it did. So, so yeah, so then we were pretty much done, and then I had some decisions to make. So before I put the bottom cuff on and the cuffs for the arms, I tried it on, and that's when I had a little cry, because by this stage it had taken me quite a long time and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like where it finished. I didn't like the arms. I didn't like how boxy the arms were. Yeah. So I made a decision. I took it back to my machine and I did just take the arms down. So I don't know whether you can see, but I have just where they are thicker here, I made them to go a little bit narrower at the top, and then I put just ordinary cuffs on rather than the elasticated weight, and that the elasticated ones, and then that just brought it in enough for me. And if I did make it again, I would make them probably thinner again, but because I wasn't sure about how it would change the style of it, I just brought them in a little bit, and it did help. And then again at the bottom, I lengthened the bottom band double, so I basically doubled it, and then that left me a nice long hemband. So yeah, so there we were. So a few questions that I'm sure that you'll asking is, would you make it again, Sam? And my answer is, for me to wear, probably not. Would I make it for my husband? Yeah, probably. He loves it. He really likes the shape and style of it. And in a different fabric, yeah, I would probably make it for him. I might, once I've gone through a little bit of Pogonip recovery, I might perhaps fiddle with the pattern a bit and maybe make it again. But well, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But the big question is, did I enjoy the Pogonip Party? Absolutely and definitely yes. It was lovely to kind of just be part of the camaraderie and be part of the group and, you know, kind of talk about our progress and how we were going. And yeah, of course, it's always fun to be invited to a party. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my Pogonip in its full glory. And don't forget to sparkle. I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye for now.